We have discussed the possibility of violence tonight and into the week. The White House is taking it seriously. They've built a new fence around the White House to protect Donald Trump. We'll talk about that later. Other countries, as I've already told you, taking it seriously, issuing travel warnings for their citizens who plan to be in the United States. I gave you the examples of Australia and New Zealand, and there are others. Colleges, I mentioned, George Washington University in D.C., telling students, plan like it's a snowstorm where you might not be able to or might not want to go out for days. Stockpile food, stockpile medication. Okay. Reporters for Reuters covering today's election will have protective gear in anticipation of unrest after a bunch of incidents in which journalists were targeted during summer protests. Reporters are being given flak jackets, helmets, and gas masks, plus, because we have a global pandemic, all of the PPE that you would need from the public health standpoint. Now, I want to be really clear about one thing. Tonight and this week, there is concern about armed Trumpists and generally about voters being out in large angry groups. And of course, that's a concern. But remember that during the anti-police brutality protests over the summer, most incidents of police, I'm getting ahead of myself. Most incidents of press being attacked, hit by rubber bullets, knocked down, punched, it was mostly coming at the hands of police and not protesters. That has been the big risk. The reason it might change tonight and this week is that Donald Trump has been very hostile to the media for 4 years now. He has been attacking the media as fake and phony and bad people and the enemy of the people. Trumpists often will verbally abuse reporters at Trump's rallies, many stories about that. And the idea is if Trump narrowly loses and claims it was rigged, you are going to see the possibility of escalation into physical violence against the media, who many Trumpists, again, see as the enemy. That is legitimate, and I would be worried about that. But again, reminder, until now, the biggest risk to the press at protests has been police officers beating reporters, rubber bullets from armed officers hitting reporters, not danger from actual protesters. Now, can we step back for just a second and appreciate how insane this headline is? Reuters equipping journalists covering the U.S. election with flak jackets, helmets, and gas masks. Election reporters in the U.S. are having to be prepared like war correspondents. This is where America is in 2020. Other countries have offered to send us election monitors, and in fact, have sent them to 28 states. There are 11 states in the U.S. where such observers are banned, including many states in the south of the United States. I know 4 years is a long time. Change happens slowly. We have slowly become desensitized to these changes. Crazy things have become normalized, but step back for a moment and consider how insane it is that reporters need protective gear to cover a U.S. election because of the threat of violence. As the president has said, he will go to courts to try to get mail-in ballots thrown out, won't commit to a peaceful transfer of power, while saying if he loses, he may leave the country like a deposed authoritarian dictator. Trump wants to be afraid of some non-existent hypothetical Biden's America. But look at Trump's America right now. Trump at his rallies continues to say, if you vote for Biden, it's a vote for anarchy, or anarchy, as he says. If you vote for Biden, it's a vote for low water pressure and no heating in the winter, no cooling in the summer, having to flush your toilet 10 or 15 times, the end of the suburb, all of this different stuff. Trump has been painting a completely dystopian picture if Joe Biden were to win. But remember, Donald Trump is president now. Look at the list of things that are happening now that many of us would never, ever, ever have imagined would have been what the United States is like. If I, and again, to frame this, go back to November 9th of 2016, the day after the election. If I had told you 4 years from now, this laundry list of things will be happening in the United States, I don't think any of you would have believed it. Very, very few of you would have believed it. That is where we are today. Let's desensitize. Let's resensitize ourselves to the insanity of this. And let's hope that tonight we see the right results. I hope you'll join me. I will be live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook starting just shy of 7 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you're also following The David Pakman Show on Instagram at David Pakman Show.